I like movies, romances or comedies or classics from the 1990s. Who invented film? Now there was a great person. I hope Carrieann likes me. Carrieann likes movies. She often recommends movies that are frightening or confusing, or which have actors who speak in foreign tongues. Sometimes I get angry. But I do love second-year fiction writer Carrieann Cahall.
Okay. All right. Is this audible? Okay. I'm going to be that person who does the weird long intro, but I have some of my oldest and newest, closest friends here, but also some of my oldest and newest educators and mentors. So I just want to say thank you guys for showing up. I wish I'd brought something better, but this is a piece it's the seed of a thing for forms where we're looking at ambiguity in fiction. So it's rough, but just deal with it. Okay. It's called There Are Ghosts on All 27 Floors. The housekeepers were born and then died and were born again. They are playing leapfrog with their soul, hopping over one another's backs, leaping to be born and born again. There is an ear-sized birthmark the color of sandstone on the back of the head. They all had or have it. They each did their part. They were careful not to mix the bleach with the ammonia. They always knocked before entering with the master key. They all eat their meals upright, so as to not return slithering. The last housekeeper left tends to all 27 floors alone, the rest from the long line humming inside, muddling the mine always. The service elevator takes the last housekeeper up and down to all of the floors. There is only enough room for the cart and a body. Each floor requires various levels of attention, certain special techniques, all to produce multitudes of attempted clean. Of course, at 27 floors to one housekeeper, the rooms and suites are in expected disarray. The carpets have not been shampooed in years, some areas sticking strangely to the bottom of shoes when walked across. Windows cannot be open, sealed shut with grime. Oh, Jesus. Sealed shut with grime and dust, showers, ceilings speckled in mold that look like ink blots. Still, the last housekeeper drags their cart up and down the hallways, bin full of mildewed towels and cubbies stocked with wholesale disinfectant, calling out housekeeping at each closed door. The routine requires 27 hours, and days are no longer days. Sleep comes when it can. On the second floor, the last housekeeper waters pots full of soil sludge and limp vine. On the third, they take a sponge and soapy water to crayon on wall. On 5, empty suitcases set aside for lost and found. 9, so much shattered ceramic. The last housekeeper skips the 10th and 11th floor entirely. Though the elevator still stops for 2 seconds on each floor before moving on, everything is noise, maybe distant music, maybe static, maybe muffled voices. The lights dim to a single tea light's strength and burst into camera flash brightness. The last housekeeper dips their hands in a tub of baby blue detergent crystals to stop them from shaking. On the 12th floor, the lights return to an appropriate intensity. The last housekeeper brings their hands up from the grainy blue to their nose and breathes in. Powdered chemical and fresh linen make their thoughts foggy and light. This way, it is easier to breathe until the elevator dings at the 14th floor. 13 does not exist because it was decided that it couldn't. The rest of the floors are attended to in monotony. Spray, wipe, scrape, ooze. During the workday, there is a lunch break, and sometimes the last housekeeper remembers to eat. The 27th floor is the last housekeeper's favorite. The 27th floor is incomplete. The builders came in and merely deposited supplies, only postured construction. The last housekeeper leaves the cart halfway in and halfway out of the elevator so that the door doesn't close. They have to sidestep waist-high piles of loose nails and layered sheets of tempered glass, dusty but pristine. The last housekeeper wipes a microfiber towel across the surface as they pass to bring out the gleam. The towel is tossed into an empty red toolbox. The last housekeeper walks up to metal railing for an unfinished balcony. It is sterile, free of germs, because no one is able to check into the unfinished space. The skeleton of a floor, the only place the last housekeeper can just be. The last housekeeper closes their eyes, bends over, and leans a warm cheek against cold steel. They tilt their head to rest their mouth against it and open their eyes. Hundreds of feet up, but the last housekeeper can still see. And through the last housekeeper, they can all see as well. Or witness, or relive, react. The subtle vibrations are there from the steel or to the steel. It doesn't matter. The last housekeeper slips the master key out of their pocket and drops it off over the side of the building. They watch it fall and count the seconds. They can see all the way down to the entrance where the key presumably lands. They know that somewhere underneath is the basement underwater. It is full of coiled rope and rubber inner tubes, wire dry cleaner's hangers wrapped in a rosy silk blanket, bobbing about, unlit incense never to catch flame. Somewhere in the soup are a tangle of bloated corpses tied together at the waist. This was supposed to be the housekeeper's first job: suction out the dense liquids, dispose of the sunken debris. But there was simply never enough product on hand to handle the mess. They have since kept to the upper floors. The last housekeeper cups a dry palm against the sandstone birthmark. The last housekeeper doesn't want to play anymore. She has imagined every day, realized just today, that to place hands on either side of her mother's spine, of her grandmother's spine, of her ancestors' spines, and push down with all her weight is a violence. To go from room to room, scrubbing away at bloodstains and sweeping aside bone is a burden. To set foot on every floor in a day that is never a day is a terror. Her mind full of them. The last housekeeper just wants peace. The last housekeeper takes a small step up onto new cinder block with its straight, sharp edge, stands between two wooden beams where pink insulation has long ago flapped and flown away. This is not how structures are made. The builders were not builders. There is the whole city, and they all have never left the threshold. There is no wind, but the last housekeeper sways, and the humming, it is unbearable. That's it. That's all I got. Thank you.